All right, so welcome back. We have a new guest star on our podcast today, a good friend of mine from Hopkins, graduated last year, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Yo, what's good? My name is Nana. Like he said, I graduated class of 2025. The major's not important. You know Hopkins kids, everyone trying to mention their major and stuff, but don't worry about that. A few things about myself. Uh what would I want to say? Yes. I lived in Ghana before I came to college. I think I lived in Ghana for over like 18 years of my life. Well, I'm 22. Yeah, 18 good years of my life. And the rest was spent in like here at Hopkins, honestly. So, one another thing is I love poetry and I love to write. I think it forms a big chunk of the way I speak and even the way I think. Honestly, my writing tends to take that poetic form.
So you would consider yourself to be a poet?
Yes, I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Hopefully, I my work gets out there. Hey, keep your eyes out
Mm-hmm.
and your ears out too, I guess.
Yeah. No, I've been to a couple of your poetry shows. I think you definitely have a gift for the pen and the speech of it all.
Mm.
How did you get into poetry?
You know what's funny?
Hmm.
One day, a teacher that I would always respect and adore one day looked at me and said, "Hey, I want you to write a poem." Just out of the blue. And I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I want you to write a poem." And I'm like, "Okay." So then I went to go do that joint, and then I performed it in high school, like in Ghana, and like the crowd was going crazy, and I was like, "Yo, this is tough." I was like, "This is tough. I'm gonna do this again."
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, he wasn't even there.
He wasn't even at the performance.
He wasn't, cause apparently he had another meeting to go to. So then I had to show him later, and he's like, "Oh, this is fire."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Yeah." Then I'm gonna do it again, and then eventually I did it again,
Mm-hmm.
and again, and again, and then I came to college, and I was like, "Yo, people really be jacking this,"
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think I took it semi seriously, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it sounds like that's kind of funny how it was your teacher that kind of planted that seed of poetry, but he wasn't even there to kind of like reap the benefits in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's reaping it now, wherever he is. I mean, that's a big shout out to him.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out, Sir Benjamin. Yeah,
Sir Benjamin.
he the
Mm-hmm.
homie for real. I
Yeah.
would lie.
Mm-hmm.
I think he fundamentally changed my thought process.
Mm-hmm.
I think how I see the world and how I see myself and what I want to be. Yeah.
Is that specific only to poetry or just in your general philosophy?
Like my general philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think, you know how, like, everyone has this, like, oh, it's easy for everyone to be like, oh, I'm just here to fit in, just be the crowd. And it sounds very cliche to like be different and all that. Like, it sounds very cliche. You hear all these things like, oh, be different, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think in high school he said something to me that I realized, yo, like it's not enough to half ass your way through anything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the typical culture of the Hopkins student, not to half ass, but to pretend like, oh, they don't try.
Mm-hmm.
Like extreme try hard. Like he's a try hard.
Oh.
You know?
You mean like kind of like being able to succeed without making it look like you're really trying super hard.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he said something. He said, I don't teach mediocrity. Like, he said it plain and simple in a math class. He don't teach mediocrity. He's like, he teaches people that seek impact.
Mm-hmm.
People who ideate and who fight for the ideas to be put on the line.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't that kid, then you ain't my student.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. And I think that has really changed the way I see things.
Mm-hmm.
I told one of my friends that there's nothing more attractive than actually showing that you want something and doing the things that are necessary to obtain it.
Yeah. So it sounds like he kind of had you or led you with the belief and the idea that above all else, effort is what matters most.
Yeah. And it don't matter if someone sees your effort or not.
Hmm. That's actually really interesting because I actually just posted a TikTok earlier today. It was actually really similar to this because I had wanted to talk about what my motivation was for like my podcast, like what where the name came from, like why it was called Try. And pretty much the whole point of the TikTok was how I was talking about how effort is something that you can't fake.
Mm-hmm.
And in the sense, I was talking about how effort outweighs the results even when effort does not equal results.
Mm.
Yeah.
Spitting.
Mm-hmm.
Spitting. I mean, I resonate with that a lot. I think people, it's easy for us in such a high achieving space to always think that whatever amount of what you do should automatically reap something or be seen. And so it's very easy for us to convince ourselves that the minute you do something, the little of what you do should do something.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, it doesn't. Like, like effort, like what you're saying, effort without results will always be beneficial regardless. Because at the end of the day, it takes a mind and a choice and a will, and that constitutes your effort. The consistency in that will and that choice is what produces what we call effort. Because then we see, not that we see that you're trying, but you yourself know you're trying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and as long as you can be true to yourself and see that this is what you want for you, and you are consistent with your choices with what you want, no one can take away that away from you. No one can take your freedom. No one can take your willpower. No one can take away your choice.
That is true. I think it's very human for us to kind of want to see the fruits of our labor really quick.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's just not like achievable 100% of the time. Like literally think about it in the sense farmers. Like you know how much effort you put into one season to plant the seeds, plow, do whatever it is that farmers do. But you don't see the results of that until months later, until a couple seasons later.
You know? True. And even with that, it's crazy too, because like after they try and they do everything the best they can't predict the weather. Other things happen.
Yeah. And that's how life is because you can do everything that you need to do in a sense, but if the weather's terrible or if there's a drought or something else, something that is out of your control kind of throws off the harvest or whatever it is that you do, then your results are kind of messed up. But that doesn't invalidate or negate the effort that you had put into whatever it was that you tried.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder, because like I don't know if you've ever seen those African like shows and memes where they're like, oh, you got a bee? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like you put it in that context, and I'm like, how do you explain like effort not equaling results to your parents? You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's something I feel like I'm still figuring out to this day. But it was definitely a lot worse. Not worse, but like it was definitely a lot more difficult as a kid because you know, like African household is like, oh, you need to. If it's not an A, don't bring it home. Or in a sense,
Bro. Funny story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And please, if anyone who listens to this use this against me in public, we're fighting, right? So, you know, in Ghana, one of the subjects I used to struggle with a lot was English.
Yeah.
Was English. So it's like I'll come up with like a nice report card like with good grades, and then you see like a random whack grade for English.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like my parents would get so furious because then they'd be like, "Why? Like why?" They couldn't understand. Like, well, and because I never showed them my English grades to this day.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you finish, but I definitely have my own stuff to talk about too.
Yeah, nah, cause like there's one time I got like an 82. That was the best grade I've ever got in English my entire life. I had an 82%.
Mm-hmm.
I went to show my dad, and then my dad was like, 82. You could have gotten a 90, bro. Like, what are you doing? I'm looking at him like, mind you, English is your second language. Don't do that to me. like, you know, and I be sitting there, like, sometimes I wonder, like, African parents, because, like, I know in my heart of hearts, I know there was definitely, like, subjects that they were also, like, going through it for real.
Yeah, I would ask for their report cards.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then they always be like, oh, I was always first in my class. I'm like,
There's only one person that's first. It's no way everybody was first.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, every day I was first. I'm like, okay. So you never failed in life? Okay, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
Then it got me wondering. I'm like, dang, you must be like a genius or something. Why did you go to like...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I love my parents to death though. They're my dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nah, I definitely had that. And, you know, I'm going to say this now on the record for like the first time. I don't know if they probably figured this out. My parents probably figured this out by this point, but I'm gonna just say it now. We're gonna recap whenever they hear this or whenever they find this episode. I'm gonna just let it out now. But there was definitely times in like elementary school, middle school, or sometimes even high school. I can't lie. Like I would take an exam, and deep down I knew I was not prepared for it, but I would like try to study maybe. Not even study as best as I could, but I would like try to kind of wing my way into it, do well enough, you know? And so my dad would drive me to school most days. So I'd be like, oh, I have this exam today that I was studying for, you know, like I hope it goes well, whatever. But deep down I know I'm not really prepared for it. And I'll tell him about it, right? And so what happens after that is I take the exam. Let's say I get the grades back a week, 2-3 weeks later, right? Depending on how that exam score looks, that is the last time you will ever hear of it.
Word.
If like I did not do so great, I just never bring it up again. I just won't say a word. And then he'll hit me up. He'll be like, "So what happened about that exam that you took a couple weeks ago?" I would just straight up be like, "Oh, they didn't grade it. I didn't get the grade back."
That's funny.
Yeah.
Nah. Because, so for high school, I went to boarding school. So they didn't get to see any of my grades. They only just got to see the end of the year or report type of joint. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I remember there were a lot of exams I'd take that, like, if I flunked, I looked at it, just throw that joint in the bin.
Yeah, yeah. The ones that really set me up is when, like, they're like, oh, you need a parent's signature.
Oh, they did that here?
Yeah. Here, I think that was a canon event for everybody here. But they'll, like, either if you failed or did really terrible on the exam, they'll be like, you need to take this home, have your parents sign it, and bring it back to school the next day.
Oh, wow. That's
yeah.
Crazy. Nah. You would get an earful from some of the professors, some of the teachers. Actually, I had this one teacher. He had a very interesting way of making students feel bad. To the extent that, like, when, like, feel bad about failing, that to the extent that when you, like, in boarding school, after classes and everything, like there's like forced studying. We call it prep. Yeah. Because like you're preparing yourself and stuff. So like every like any student that was taking his class, the way he made them feel bad when they failed, to the extent that it's like every day you come up to prep, you're studying his subject first. Cause like you take when you take his exam, he just pops out of nowhere. Like, y'all could be, like, at lunchtime, and then you just walk up there with, like, your exam papers, and you be like, oh, if you hear your name, come for your paper.
Yeah.
And then he'll mention the mark. And if you failed and it was, like, a bad grade, you throw the paper away. So that you don't pick it from his hands, you pick it off the floor.
That's psychological warfare.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to him, though. He the homie. Shout out to him, though. He the homie. And trust, I never failed that class. At least that's one thing I can tell my children. I know that's true.
Yeah.
No shade.
Yeah. But how would you say going to school in Ghana was compared to here in the U.S.?
I mean, for starters, the weather is different. I hate the cold.
That's fair.
You know, I think one of the biggest things I had to, like, do was condition my mind to, like, concepts of like seasonal depression. Because I did not know that was a thing. You know, I live in a country there's 2 seasons.
Yeah, man, like sunshine every day, warm weather.
Bro, you don't know how it feels to wake up, look at the sun, and know it's gonna feel like it how it's shining. Like I wake up and I'm like, yo, I don't have to think about wearing a hoodie. I don't have to think about wearing layers.
Yeah.
Shoot. But it's crazy too, because after I came to live here, the reverse was also annoying. Like, why do I have to like? Why is it so hot? Like, and it's also humid. But back to the question. I think Ghanaian teachers. Well, I didn't have to do with accent changes, so that didn't like throw me off, because I remember my freshman fall here at college, there was this professor I had with a very thick French accent.
Yeah.
And it's crazy too, because I only started hearing him after he said, oh, he was French. Like, I couldn't hear a word he was saying, but then I'm like, where are you from? What's your accent? And he's like, oh, he's French. And after he said that, for some reason, my mind just go like, oh. And I started hearing him.
Yeah.
I was so surprised. So, that's one of the things. Another major change for me is like diet. Because, you know, I was eating a lot of Ghanaian food. I wasn't eating like burgers and stuff. We had no FFC. Shoot. And then on top of that, all of the food.
Straight eggs.
That's funny. You know, let's talk about it, right?
Okay.
I didn't know that was a problem until I came here, right? Funny enough, because like, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, what am I gonna eat for breakfast? I'm like, I'm gonna have like some fried eggs. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you know, with like bread, toast, and all that. Like, that's calm.
Yeah.
You know? And then like lunch comes, and it's like, what are you eating? You have, like, you have rice with the stew, but you're not feeling the chicken, so you get an egg. That's calm. But then I'm like, and then I realized, like, what you having for dinner? And it's like, so in Ghana we have a lot of like finger foods. So like one of the finger foods is like yam. So you have yam like with like fresh stew, cooked stew. It could be like tomato stew.
Yeah, we have a lot of stew. Yeah.
Right. But then there's egg.
There's always an egg.
You know what I'm saying? So like I didn't know it was a problem. So then people were like, Ghanaians like eggs, and I'm like, no, we don't. And then, like, I was fighting. I'm like, no, we don't. And then right after I said that, you know when like in the movie people be getting flashbacks?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we don't. I'm like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
Maybe we are the problem. Maybe. Just maybe. You know, one time here, I remember I had only one egg in the fridge. Yeah. And I was mad. And when I cracked it open, it had 2 yolks in it. I jumped for joy. Word 2. Happiest day of my life at Hopkins. Word 2. I don't care what nobody says. Yeah. But yeah, the food was different. The food in high school is different. You know? I mean, it probably would have been a lot more different if I had went to college in Ghana. I could have said there was a huge difference between like high school food and like college food. Because like colleges in Ghana, like, you know how we have an FFC, right?
Like a food court, yeah.
Yeah, right. And like it's built into the meal plan. Colleges in Ghana, we don't have that.
Like you just pay cash out of pocket?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have meal plans. I mean, like, a lot of people probably are going to cook in their own spaces and all that, like, and find foods on campus. Like, there are a lot of, like, one of the colleges I normally visit where all my friends are, they have, like, these things called, like, night markets. So think of, like, Charmar, right?
Yeah.
But, like, they just call it night market. Like, people just buy foods from there, you know what I'm saying?
Like a corner store type.
Yep, but it's a market, so it's, like, a big space.
Oh, like an actual grocery store, kind of?
Yeah, but it's outdoorsy.
Like an open air market.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, another thing I would say about like schooling in Ghana. I mean, it's probably because I live in Baltimore now, and I like it's a very like cityscape. Well, this side of Baltimore at least, because like this side of Baltimore, like because it's cityscape, everything is so fast paced. So it's like boom, 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 boom. But at least in Ghana, I feel like I had a lot more time to myself. I had a lot more time within the 24 hours.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I that was something I realized because when I went back home to Ethiopia over the summer, life just felt a lot slower. Like here in America, I feel like it's very like fast paced. Like you've got something to do. Like you're always like really busy. You got to go to school or work, or there's something always going on. But like back home, it just felt like it was just like a slow pace of life. Like everybody was just like they had work and stuff, but it was like you really had time in the day to do things besides work.
You know, which is why I hate living off a schedule now. Like that conversation is so ugly to me. He's like, "Hey, what's your schedule?" I'm like, "Man, I don't like that." You know, but I mean, organization is also important. So yeah, I shout out to all of y'all, all of us, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think a schedule definitely helps, but I think it helps with building consistency and allowing yourself to have like pretty much certain times and things set apart so you know when you're doing things. But I feel like it definitely can be too rigid sometimes.
Add room, spontaneity.
I do like spontaneity. I'm very much like go with the flow in a sense, which is why like having a schedule. I have a schedule out of necessity, not because I want to have a schedule. Like if it was up to me, I would just get things done when they need to be done. But I feel that having a schedule is what helps me be productive and get things done. But I'm not one of those people that maps out like my Google Calendar is not like 10 different colors and I have things planned out in 30-minute intervals or intervals. Like I'm very much
color coordination. Oh, shout out to all of y'all who do that. That's a gift.
Yeah.
Shoot.
It probably helps. I think it definitely helps, but that is too much to me. Like that's too much work for me. For me, when I have something to do, I would just put it in like general size blocks. I'll be like, this is gonna take me like maybe 2 hours. I have 5 hours worth of time in this space. I will get it done somewhere in that time span.
It will get done when it gets done.
It will. It will.
I mean, that's a good philosophy. I mean, at the end of the day, making sure that you take care of what needs to be taken care of, you know. I would say, because I'm also not a very rigid person, so in my schedule, I have like time blocks where I know like these are the things I'm gonna get done, right? And like what you're saying, I also have a schedule out of necessity. It was up to me. I just do it and then keep it pushing, you know.
Yeah.
But my schedule normally goes with those that I know are rigid time blocks. Is like, oh, I have to be there at this time. I'm doing this at this time every day, and then I have like little like spontaneity.
Spontaneous.
I don't know why I said spontaneity. I feel like that's like a chemistry term or something.
Maybe that's the BME PTSD hitting you.
Bro, maybe Gibbs free energy. Bro, if you don't know nothing about that, then forget about it.
Yeah.
But
you have some spontaneous stuff in your schedule.
Yeah, I have like a lot of like I put those chunks in to be like, hey yo, I don't feel like doing work right now. What time is it? And I'm like, oh shoot, like this is just freedom time. Now I'll go take a walk.
Yeah,
I think those moments really like I look forward to those moments. But those things can low key like be addictive, and like you become like a procrastinator.
Yeah, I've had my fair share of procrastination. You know, I think, like you said, with the necessity in building the schedule, you know, like in like middle school, they gave us these huge binders with like 4 or 5 different folders. You got the planner, and they're like, you need to write this out, blah blah blah, and everything.
I didn't go to middle school here, bro.
That's how I went to like a private school, so they really tried to instill that in us. But I was really doing it because they said we had to do it. High school came around, I didn't really write anything. College, didn't really write it. I just actually, like, this might sound crazy, but I did not really start using a planner until I started my program here. Like, I was very much, like, it'll get done when it gets done. I have the end date, but as long as that date is not here yet, I have time. And that definitely led to a lot of procrastinating. But now, since I've gotten here, I've definitely found that having a planner does help, but like I said, like it's not to the point where I like spam it and there's so much stuff in there, but I definitely am better at planning my stuff out. Like you said, there's like certain things that are rigid, where if it's like class or like work and everything, like I have to be there at that time. I block that out. Like I have that for the certain time. But with like the other free time I have during the day, it's very spontaneous. Like if I have work to get done, like I said, it'll get done somewhere in that time. However much work gets done is up to how I'm feeling that day, though.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. You know, one thing you were saying about procrastination, it had me thinking. You know, I think the biggest hubris for me is always this statement: "Oh, I have time."
Yeah.
You know, but then one day I woke up one day, I'm like, "Yo, it's only 24 hours in a day, Mud.
Mm-hmm.
Only 24 hours. That's not enough. I want to do a lot." But then at the same time, it's like sometimes I just don't want to do anything. But I think that alone, like that switch, it really had me think. It's like, dang, we always lie to ourselves, like, oh, we have the time until we don't. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably one of the biggest things I had to overcome. And shoot, if I'm being honest, I'm still overcoming.
Mm-hmm.
I have time
Mm-hmm.
until I don't.
Yeah.
Know?
Mm-hmm.
Probably that's why I started hiding like my exam scores from my parents. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I had time to study.
Nah,
I
with them, there's no time. Well, what you see right now is that's the time. There's
Yeah.
no future.
Yeah, what did Burna Boy say? My brother, time no day. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But I wanted to kind of touch on that more because since you were an international student and most of like your direct family is like back home, how do you like manage that relationship
You want me to be honest?
if you'd like to be?
I didn't manage it the first 2 years
Mm-hmm.
of college. If I'm being more honest, I'm learning to manage it now that I'm outside of college. And I think one of the things I had in the back of my mind is like, oh, I went to boarding school for 4 years before I came to college. I haven't lived with my parents for 4 years before I came to college. So it's just gonna be like boarding school.
Mm-hmm.
Then first year came. And I remember first year I wasn't talking to my parents at all. I really wasn't. Like also I think part of me always was like, oh, what am I gonna tell them? Oh, physics is kicking my butt and my mom can't help me in physics. And like my mom's a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, she would worry. So it's like I'm not gonna tell her, oh, I'm struggling in these subjects, and then she starts feeling concerns like, are you depressed? And I'm like, no. Because you also know how Africans be with like mental health. You know,
Yeah.
why are you
I'm
depressed?
I'm well aware.
No, why are
I'm
you
well aware.
depressed?
Mm-hmm.
You know, not to generalize, but
Yeah.
if you have that type of parent, I'm not saying my parents are like that. I'm just saying I didn't want to put that sphere, that burden on them. So the first 2 years of college, I would say my communication with my parents was bad. And if you actually know me, you probably have that problem with me right now, which I would like to say I apologize. I'm very sorry. It's not that I don't care about you. I really do care about all of y'all. It almost sounds like I'm bragging. No, this is not what it... I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But, yeah, my communication with my parents weren't the best.
Mm-hmm.
Enough that I remember the first year of college, I went home. My mom sat me down and was like, yo, you need to talk to us.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't, like, I want to talk to you, but I don't know how to talk to you without being a burden. But then I realized that was a very toxic mentality to have, because at the end of the day, your parents brought you into this world.
Yeah, if it's anybody's job to worry about you, it's theirs.
Right, and if it's anybody's job that you could be a burden to, it's them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I think that's something I'm always learning now, even till now, because, I mean, there are some things that I don't tell my mom and dad until it's too late, and then my dad will be so mad at me. He's like, why didn't you tell me earlier? And I'm like, honestly, gang, because I didn't want you to worry, and two, I feel like if I told you, then it's like, you gonna be mad.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, damn, family is the one people that can get mad at you, and this is not gonna change who they are to you. You might as well take it up to the chin.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get
Yeah.
that. I think I do that sometimes too with my parents, especially being farther away from home, because like if I have like an inconvenience or there's something on my mind, it's like I'm not gonna say anything about it because I was like, one, it's something that they just can't really control about, and I don't want to add to the stress in a sense
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
I think that as I've gotten older, that's something that I've had to realize because I was like, it doesn't matter if I'm like 25, like 35, 45, like at the end of the day, as long as they are still here, they are my parents. Like, there's no age that you stop being your parents' child.
I was really thinking about it today because my mom scolded me today because didn't talk to my father about something. But she said something that low-key touched my soul.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, at this point of your age, he's probably thinking my son is of the age that we can share ideas. Like, we can see the world in some similar eye scope. Not the same, because he definitely, like, older than me. But, like, at some point, he can say a lot more things without sugarcoating it. Because he believes I am of the maturity to uphold these ideals. So if you don't talk to him, then if you don't talk to your parents, then it's probably going to be like, dang, like, why aren't they, like, why are my kids talking to me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And when she said it, I was like, dang, I didn't think about it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say it's way better than the first 2 years of college. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's way better.
Yeah.
I'm just used to, like, my parents just, like, oh, how are your grades? Good or bad? If it's bad, you get a scolding. If it's not, oh, keep up the good job. I'm gonna see. So what's up? Like, what's next? And then eventually start getting into other conversation like, oh, how's your health? Like, what are you doing? What's your schedule? Who are your friends?
Yeah.
Which is funny because I can tell you the entire time of high school, my parents only knew two things about me: my name and the school I went to. They didn't even know my grade. There was one time my mom popped up to high school and she came to visit me in boarding school and she's like, oh, Nana. I'm like, yeah, what's up, mom? She's like, by the way, what grade are you in? I was like, huh? I'm like, you don't know the grade I'm in? She's like, shoot, I didn't know. I'm like, hey, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point my parents didn't know. I don't even think my dad knows my friends,
Yeah.
And honestly, we don't talk about those things. So it's like, I think in some way they give me the trust to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, I'm also like,
Yeah. I think that's big because, like, something I've been realizing more or, like, reflecting on is, like, how your relationships with your parents changes as you age.
mm-hmm.
Because, like, when I was in high school or, like, even college, because I was still living at home, like, it's always like, oh, why don't you talk to me? When, like, most of the conversations, like, oh, what are your grades? Like, how's school? Now, like, when I call and I talk to them, they're like, how's school? But now it's like, what are you up to this week? Like, what you got planned for today? Like, there's so much more depth to the conversation when it's not really centered on academics.
Mm-hmm.
And going to your point about, like, talking with your dad, I think that my relationship with my dad has definitely grown a lot, which I really do enjoy because it was definitely at the point in time where I was like, kind of had that issue of like not being able to open up or talk to him about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is because like this is a man that was trying to see my grades, trying to check on every exam score. So now that you've grown past that, not to say we're equals, but now there's more of an understanding. Like I'm not a kid in a sense anymore. So being able to have different conversations now is different because like I would never really open up as much, and I know that definitely kind of put a strain on our relationship in a sense where there wasn't as much comfort with each other because I know that we would both want that relationship, but maybe me personally, I wasn't ready for it to get to that level where, like you said, I just wasn't comfortable saying certain things in a sense.
Yeah. Nah. Dads, man. I wonder if it was like they were taught to be built that way, Because, like, it really, like, when you were speaking, one of the things that just popped in my head is so funny. It's like, you ever watch Avatar, The Last Airbender?
Yep.
You know, like, Prince Zuko is, like, chasing his dad's, like, approval the entire time?
Yeah.
And, like, when he finally got it, he's like, shoot.
If we're being honest, I wrote, that's his real dad.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it really had me thinking, because, like, at some point, I really felt like him, though. Like chasing my dad's approval. But it's, like, in that cycle, it's always, like, what are you doing? It's, like, I think in his head, I think my mom was trying to explain this to me today, that my dad cares. And it's, like, I know that he cares, but what she said brought it to consciousness. You know how you have something at the back of your head, but then now you have it at, like, the forefront. It's like, oh, now, like, I'm conscious, like, he cares. And I think about it in the concept of, like, oh, with the way he was like, oh, how your grades are. Like, the assumptions, that's all you got going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then it's like, now, that's not all you got going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It's interesting. Another question I have, right now, would you say, I know you've asked me other questions, like, but right now, would you say you're able to ask your dad, like, questions about, like, let's say, like, your life right now, and you find yourself in a situation, are you able to ask straight up questions, or you have to beeline with the hypotheticals?
I mean, I feel like with hypotheticals, like, I feel like the thing is with African parents, like, they're very, like, they're grade A detectives. So, like, if I ask
superstitious too.
Yeah, so, like, if I ask a hypothetical off the dome, it's like, that's not a hypothetical. Like, I know that's a real situation, so I can't even do the hypothetical route anymore, because it's like, they already know. But I think now it's nice because I've gotten to the point where, like, I can just straight up be like, yeah, I'm kind of dealing with this on my mind, you know, like, what do you think, this and that. And that's something that I really am happy with now, because it definitely took a lot of work to get here. And I think now I'm definitely in a good place, like, me and him are in a good place where we can have those conversations honestly, and I feel like I can really talk to him about things that I definitely did not think I could ever talk to him about.
That's real. For me, I wish I was in your spot. I'm in a good place with my dad, first off, but I'm not at the position whereby I'm like, oh, I could just tell him what's on my mind. I feel like I have to, like, chip away at it, you know? But I think right now I'm at a place with him whereby, well, after I go tell him about what my mom wants me to tell him, but I'm in a position whereby it's like I'm able to have a conversation with him, and he's able to even ask for my input. That low-key made my day the other time. Like, he was talking to me, he's like, oh, what you think about this? I was like, huh, you talking to me?
Yeah.
Me? You want my thought? I was like, oh, wow, that made my day. I can't even lie. I was smiling ear to ear. He didn't see, because I don't talk to him. I don't, like, video call my dad. I never do. I just realized that. But I always, you know, I always hit the WhatsApp video with my mom.
Yeah.
But my dad is straight up audio.
Yeah.
But yeah, he asked me for my point of view the other time. I was like, oh wow, that really touched my heart. So yeah, I'm at that point whereby I feel like I can have certain, I think I call them grade B conversations, you know?
Yeah.
A lot more like human, like friends, like type of conversations. Grade A conversations come later, you know, the wife thing and all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes later.
Yeah.
One day he tried to sneak in some advice. He looked at me like after graduation, weirdly, like right after graduation, he came for graduation and he was leaving. He looked at me, he's like, yo, let me let you know a little advice, man. Be careful. I'm like, be careful about what? He's like, you know. And if you know, you know, right? I was like, okay. I'll make you proud, Dad. That's what I said. I was like, don't worry. He just said that randomly. I'm like, if you want to talk about it, just let me know. But like,
yeah, yeah, those. As soon as he had that degree was in your hand, he was like, it's time.
It's time. It's like, my son, come. Let me let you know. Let me sit down. I have to tell you something. You know, nah. I respect my parents. I love them to death. You know, top two on my Mount Rushmore. The people that, you know, I fight to, should I say, honor. You know, but sometimes it's just initially it was hard, cause like I was even telling one of my friends, you know how like people have like conversations with their their parents about like psychological changes. I couldn't talk to my parents about being a teenager. Not I couldn't. I never did to this day.
I mean, I didn't either. Yeah. I mean, now like I would say like I'm definitely still like grade B. Like there's still certain things where like I don't know if I would ever really feel comfortable talking to my dad or my mom about. We'll have to see about that. But like honestly, most things now that I don't think I would have felt comfortable talking to, like that I would have went to my friends for before, I can talk to my dad. Like if that's like social stuff, like school, stress, work, like if my job is like tweaking, or if I'm having like issues with like somebody, this and that. It's nice to be able to kind of have him in my corner. And one of the things that I've realized as of late is that me and him are actually like really similar.
No word.
Yeah. And it's funny because I say like when I was in like high school and definitely younger, like me and him would butt heads a lot. Like definitely just a difference of opinion in who we were. And I was like, how are we? I was like, we're not the same person at all. You know, like it felt like very much like polar opposites. But like now as I've gotten older and I'm like growing into myself more and realizing who I am or what's important to me, I'm kind of like, damn, I'm low-key just him 2.0. Like I am just a carbon copy in a sense, you know.
Hey, they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. They weren't lying. I don't know. Yeah, I'm yet to discover that about my dad, cause I mean he's not a poet, so
yeah.
But maybe he has a secret journal that I do not know. You know, you know. I think yeah. Well, it is appropriate to say. I was just gonna say my dad low-key has like a sweet tone. I think that's the best way I can put it. That's probably where I probably got my poetry from. You know, maybe he don't write, but he's always had the thoughts of where he can string words together. Yeah. Well,
I mean, I think like my dad, like we have a lot of the same characteristics in terms of our personality. But I was thinking about it, you were saying like the apple doesn't fall far. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I think it's interesting because I low-key just kind of had this thought and I was like, maybe it might be a bar. But I think the apple does not fall far from the tree, but it seems that way when you're not facing the tree.
Word. Perspective.
It is a matter of perspective.
Word. Nah, you're right. That's true. That is a bar. Broski spitting.
Am I a poet now?
I think everyone's a poet. That's my thought. I mean, what does it take to be a poet? Is it not to communicate your thoughts the best way you can and feel that which you say?
Yeah, I mean, poetry is an art. And I was taking and integrating alternative awareness, like pretty much coming up with alternative approaches to mental wellness outside of like conventional therapy theories and like theoretical methods.
Big words. Yeah. Shout out.
Pretty much coming up with alternative ways to provide therapy that aren't necessarily just talk therapy, like sitting in a session talking.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, and one of those theories is like art therapy. And like I'm a terrible artist. Like if I'm being real, like if you want me to paint
like a visual artist?
Yeah, if you want me to paint, draw a color, like it doesn't look too great. Like the only thing that I could do that looks great is like those coloring books where they have like the numbers with the specific colored pencils. I can do that. I can color it in between the lines. That's my art right there.
He said I follow instructions quite well.
Yeah. But that's the thing with art. Art, there are no instructions to it. It's very subjective.
Yeah.
And like in the class, like a couple times this semester, we would do like drawings or kind of just taking time to draw something based on our current mood and representation. And like going into it, I was very much like, oh my goodness, like this is about to be a terrible work of art. Like it's going to be so bad. Like it's going to look terrible. But like at the end of it, besides it already not looking as great as I had expected it to, the main thing that stuck on my mind was kind of the release of it, because I was able to release whatever emotions or feelings I had onto the paper. Granted, it didn't look amazing, but it was authentic, and it was like a valuable form of expression to me. And that was like the subjectivity of art, because I was like, even if my art is not going to go in the Louvre or it's not going to be sold for millions, at the end of the day, it's my art, and it's something that's indicative of me. So rather than focus on what the end product or the result is, it's the effort that I put in and that it was true to me.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like how one thing you mentioned being your emotions, or that you were conscious of how it is you felt as you were painting or doing the artwork. I think, I don't know if that's something that you intentionally like tell like any person who's going through art therapy to do so, because it's very easy for people to just like, oh, do something just out of what you're seeing, you know. I think it's very easy for people to take creativity of something of the mind as opposed to a whole body experience, you know, which is why I like poetry, because, or love poetry, because with poetry it's more than just what you're thinking in your head. You're also thinking about how it is you feel and what you want to say concerning that, right? I think there's this this assumption that poetry has to be short, like, more times. So I think, like, when I was getting to poetry, that was like the biggest thing I had. Like, I was thinking, how, like, what do I feel and how I can just convey it in such few words, you know, condense that. Having that whole body experience for myself, like, my thought processes being in line with my heart, you know, and articulating that on pen and paper. Beautiful experience. Everyone's a poet. You just don't know it yet.
Classic line.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Everyone's a poet.
I mean, poetry is art in a sense, and I feel like when you think of art, people just think like painting or coloring or drawing, but art at the end of the day is a form of expression in whatever medium you choose, whether that is on paper, on the computer, or through like voice and like word of mouth. Like, I would say like this is an art in itself, because at the end of the day, art to me is just self-expression.
Right.
And there are many different ways that you can do that.
Yeah. Funny enough, you know, I used to paint, actually. I used to paint, like, my first 2 years of high school. I stopped because, my parents were like, oh, you're going to be a doctor.
Yep.
So then I was like, you know what, bro, let me just focus on like my math and sciences, and now we're here. Didn't pick a paintbrush again.
Yeah.
But now I got Procreate, so my iPad and my Apple Pencil go crazy now.
So you're rediscovering that passion.
Yep, for $10. For $10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's that been?
If I'm being honest, I don't even know where my iPad is right now. I'm being so honest. I don't know. I mean, I paint, but like, that was like in college and stuff. But right now as we're speaking, I don't even know where my iPad is right now. But I think that reconnection coming back when I was in college and having that free time was touching. Was touching. You know, expression is what we all strive for. You know, the space to say as we feel and feel as we think. You know?
Yep.
So, if we have those moments and we're able to share those moments, it's it should be cherished. You know?
Would you say that life often imitates art? Like, would you feel that your art or your poetry is an accurate representation or reflection of where your life is at right now?
Wouldn't that art imitating life then?
I guess I don't remember if it was life imitates art or art imitates life.
I definitely believe art imitates life. You know, because what you feel is an amalgamation of what you know. You know, I always say emotions is like, emotions are information, right? And when you're mad, it's when you're mad or sad, it's telling me that there's something of interest to you that was not fulfilled, right? So like you have a particular reality or a particular choice, want, need, whatsoever, and it was not met or fulfilled or whatsoever. So that info, like when I see you mad, that's like, oh, there's something you care about that is not working the way you want it to. You know, when you're happy, something you care about that is working.
Things are going according to plan.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I often, and like with poetry or art, these are the things we see, or how we've seen certain things, or how we're thinking in a particular way. I always say creativity is just seeing things in other things. Your ability to connect two thoughts or two things in so many ways. So it's like if you look at some piece and it's like, okay, I'm gonna paint it this way because this is how you're seeing it and this is how it's making you feel, then that's just the way you're living. Because like life, you go through life, and as you're going through life, you begin to know, you begin to see, you collect information, and those things impact the way you feel, the way you think, and how you understand the world and yourself. And you express that. So art definitely imitates life. Well, does life imitate art? I can argue the same, because the expression of oneself can influence the expression of another or the life of another, right? If people heard the words I say on stage or read any form of my pieces and they get my pieces, it might change your thought process altogether. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I'm that like
influential.
Sure, nah, my pen ain't like that, but hopefully it does get there one day. But I can definitely tell you that there have been pieces whereby I've written where people are like, oh, I never thought about it like that. And that awareness alone could be a little nugget that changed the entire thought process, to which they act completely different about that same concept. Inherently, you've changed your lifestyle on that topic. On that topic. You can't.
Yeah.
No one can truly change a person except themselves and God.
Shout out God. But I think that's definitely big. I feel like oftentimes you may not realize the weight of your words or how powerful they can be for somebody else who maybe needs to hear them more than they realize.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah.
Shoot, I guess I'm not the poet, son. It's all Yoni. That was beautiful.
Thank you. No, I think that's partly like what been one of my goals with like the podcast in a sense, because like at the end of the day, humans all have different experiences, like we all have different lives, you know. But I think there are like certain factors or certain things that kind of resonate with people. Like there are similarities in people's lives as much as there are differences.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that me being able to express or share my own experiences in my life, even though that they are specific and unique to me, does not mean that maybe there's not a little nugget of information or there's not something in there that somebody else might resonate with or somebody might have gone through themselves.
Mm-hmm. I like the word nuances, you know, because there's nothing new under the sun, but there are nuances.
There are a lot of nuances to life.
You know? So, like, the experiences and different, like, situations may look different to, like, may look similar in concept. But, like, when you look at how it turned out differently, you're able to jot down, oh, the little nuggets, the little nuances, the little different forms of perspective that give new light, you mm-hmm. know? And I like how you're using this podcast as a way to express yourself. And I like the confidence, which you should have, that in you expressing yourself, people resonate with what you're doing. It's a beautiful thing, you know? I think a poem I heard, it started like, I don't remember the full poem, but the first two lines were, if a tree falls, does it make a sound? And then you'd be like, well, duh. But then it's like, how would you know if you weren't there to hear it?
Mm-hmm.
You know? The argument that the poet was making was in every action, in every thought. We testify of things done because we were there to witness. In the same way, every artist's expression desires to be seen. The expressed desires to be felt.
Yeah.
To be felt, to be experienced. Because if I'm expressing, like, how would we, like, the only reason why we're able to call it expression is that we have the assumption that it was witnessed. Then we, or in some form, the expression has been captivated. If it's not, if we have no recollection of that expression, can we really say it was expressed? We have no evidence of it. So I bring it to this context. I don't know if it's your desire to be seen or anything, but as you're expressing yourself, I mean, there's a huge part of you that is seen, and I'm glad that I and everyone else who's listening gets to partake in that.
Thank you. I would like to argue that I do enjoy the work and kind of doing the podcasting, but I mean, there's definitely part of it that goes into it being seen, because I think part of that goal is to have it possibly leave an impact, but it's hard to leave an impact for people if there's no people to listen to it.
Word.
But I think that I would like to argue for myself that it would still feel kind of therapeutic in a sense to me, even if it falls upon deaf ears, because at the end of the day, it is self-expression. And I mean, there's things that I will express just for myself, like when I'm journaling or when I'm writing things down. And it's not meant for other eyes or for people to see. It's just meant for myself so that I can look back at it. And I feel like that expression still holds a lot of weight to me. Like, I wouldn't say it doesn't have the same meaning or fulfill me as much just because it's only for my eyes.
Right. Which goes back to say the expressed desire to be seen by themselves or other people. You know? Which is why, like a lot of the pieces that you do write that you call reflective or for yourself carry more value, because inherently you know the things you're writing, you are the one that is going to appreciate them.
That is true. That is true. So I guess this is my poetry then.
Yep. Yep. Real words by Yoni.
Yeah. I don't know. I've thought about the poetry thing, maybe, but I never got past. They had us doing like haikus in like 2nd, 3rd grade, and like that's the only thing I can remember. It's like 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5. But like as I'm writing it out, I have to like clap to make sure I have the right amount of syllables in each line. But yeah, I mean, this is my poetry.
Yeah. You know, there's some, like, they're free verses. Those have no structure. You write as you go. I know, like, we have all those random structures and, like, with the rhyme scheme and all those things. Honestly, sometimes I'll be getting mad, like, because we have American sonnets and we have other sonnets, and it's like, what is it called? Shakespearean sonnet? Like, all these things.
I'm a casual. I don't... This is your domain. You know the poetry. I just
Bro,
know...
I learned this one from IFP, bro. Intro to Fiction and Poetry. I learned that joke, like, last year. It was, like, one of the last classes I took here. So, it's not my domain. I just found it there. But, like, I mean, again, stringing words together and you feel expressed, that's all there is to it.
Maybe I'll just submit a clip from the podcast. That'll be my poetry. I'll just read it off.
You know, submit it to some form of journal or something.
We'll see. But I think things are starting to get towards the end of the episode, so we might just have to start wrapping it up here. But I wanted to take a moment to say thank you for hopping on. Appreciate having you as a guest star and for sharing with us your insights and experiences.
Well, I appreciate you. I mean, this is great. I'm happy that I get to talk to my friend, and I'm happy that y'all get to listen to what I talk to my friend about. So, I mean, definitely thank you. Thank you. Because now I feel seen and heard.
That's all that is at the end of the day. I feel like everybody has a right to be seen and heard.
Oh, and Mom, Dad, I love you. If I said something that I'm sorry.
Are you sending this to the WhatsApp group?
The- well, not yet.
Mm-hmm. What if it just pops up on their YouTube?
I don't think my parents use YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be surprised.
Mm-hmm. But are there any parting words of wisdom that you'd like to leave the audience with?
Oh, stay hungry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stay foolish.
Stay foolish.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
I think that's from Steve Jobs. I think so.
Hmm.
And by foolish, I'm not saying make dumb decisions. I'm just saying, hey, don't be afraid to do outside the norm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, status quo overrated, anyways.
It is, for sure. But
and keep God in your life.
Yep. But I think we'll cut it off for here. Thank you again, and I will see you guys next episode.
All right, deuces.